Hi guys, and welcome to Odds on Premier League. Final day with us, and we still don't know which teams are going to play in Europe. So let's analyze all 10 games, of course, with Tom, Rennie, and with you. Leave a comment below in the comment section. You will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And do not forget to click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, very important, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. Tom, sadly, this is coming to an end. We are going to enjoy the last weekend with football in the Premier League. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I've loved this season. It has been really fun. I'm also very excited about it being over.
Probably also the supporters of our first game team, especially Arsenal, they are very happy that this season is going to be over. Arsenal-Brighton is our first game at the Emirates, but surprisingly, Arsenal, they've won the last 4 games. This is not happening lately for the Gunners. They beat Crystal Palace 1-3. They still have an option to go to the Conference Cup. Probably they don't even want to play that competition. And they play at home against Brighton, who surprisingly came back and beat Man City in the second half. Do you trust Arsenal for the very last game of the season?
I love when you ask me questions like this and you use the word trust. I would never trust Arsenal. I wouldn't trust Arsenal under any circumstance. They're a tough side to bet on. I will say, though, it's funny. Arsenal's season, it's the kind of thing that will melt your face if you really look at it. You've mentioned the form. Only Liverpool are in better form over the last 5 games. Only Liverpool and Leeds are in better form over the last 10 games. If you look across the last half of the season, they have an equivalent number of points to Chelsea, who many of us are talking about being fantastic this campaign, making the Champions League final. Looks like they've qualified for the Champions League again, all of that. So if you put all these stats together, it's been a great season for Arsenal. But if you look at it in the round, it's a terrible season. They sit 9th, 17 wins, less wins than West Ham, Leicester, Liverpool. A similar amount of losses to Brighton. I think Brighton have now lost just 1 more. You know, it's crazy. You can prove almost everything with Arsenal's season. Good comeback against Crystal Palace in midweek. You know, I think they're a side that they need 2 things, Arsenal. Number 1, extreme pressure. And number 2, absolutely no pressure. Under extreme pressure, they've saved the season multiple times. Under no pressure, they somehow managed to outhouse their way to victory over Crystal Palace. With Brighton, very impressive against Man City. I was also very impressed with them against West Ham as well. They're defensively very sound. And I expect that to continue. Ben White and Adam Webster and their entire defence have been very strong this season. Lewis Dunk, when not suspended, has been great as well. So I expect this to actually be quite tight. Brighton look like a side that are playing well right now. I think if the season were to continue for 10, 12 more games, they can have a real push at the top half. There's a real confidence about Brighton at the moment. 2 wins and a draw in their last 4. I'd still favour Arsenal only because fans are back in. I expect them to get behind Arteta. They still have loads of goal-scoring threats. Great to see Martinelli on the score sheet at Selhurst Park. I think he's going to be a big star for Arsenal moving forward. I'd be looking here for an Arsenal victory, but a low-scoring victory. Arsenal to win under 1.5.
Okay, even the victory of Arsenal, the odds are not that bad. I think 1.73, and it's quite poor actually. If we see the top scorer of Arsenal this season is Lacazette with only 13 goals. Probably we expect much more goals from Lacazette or Aubameyang or Pepe. But this is not happening, and Arsenal are where they are in the middle of the table with the hopes or not to qualify for the Conference Cup. It's been better for the neighbours. Chelsea, now they are traveling to Birmingham. Aston Villa, Chelsea, they need a victory to qualify for the Champions League. They made the most complicated thing in the middle of the week, beating Leicester City 2-1 after that defeat in the FA Cup. So they had their vendetta. This is the last game before their Champions League final. And I don't know if it's a tricky trip, this one to Villa Park, because Aston Villa were able to beat the Spurs in the middle of the week at White Hart Lane, or you expect Chelsea to cruise in this game?
I think this is very tricky. Very, very tricky for Chelsea. And I think that Villa were fantastic against Tottenham Hotspur on Wednesday night. They could have scored way more than the 2 they did. Jack Grealish being back, it makes such a difference. We've spoken about it a lot. He was out for a lot longer than we thought he was going to be, and you can just see the difference when he is on the field. He is one of the players of the Premier League, one of the top 10 players in the division. And I think he's fantastic. And the way he carried the fight to Tottenham Hotspur, I think they had like 20 shots on goal against Spurs. And should have scored a few more. So I see it being similar against Chelsea. I think Chelsea are a lot better than Tottenham, obviously, defensively better. They will go into it trying not to get beaten, Chelsea. That is very much the Thomas took away. And they'll try and nab a 1-0 win. But you know what? I just quite fancy Villa. I mean, I think Chelsea will be big favourites. That's understandable. But Chelsea, I've got to get past Tyrone Mings, Ezri Konsa, Courtney Hawes, Matt Targett. I expect Douglas Luiz to come back in. Villa are good. Villa are good. They're a good team defensively, offensively impressive. Ollie Watkins is a good striker. I think he's better than Timo Werner. And if there was a straight swap on for Chelsea, I'd absolutely take that swap tomorrow. So I actually think draw might be an interesting bet here, because I fancy Villa to score. I don't think Chelsea will blow them away. I've not been impressed by Chelsea in the last few weeks. I think they were good against Leicester in the league game, but if you look at Arsenal and you look at the cup final, they were poor. So I would be looking to see what I could get for a draw here. Maybe draw, both teams score.
Okay, the draw is 4.8. If you fancy Aston Villa double chance, for instance, 2.8. Also, good odds for that. We have to say that Grealish, that you mentioned, 10 assists for him in this season, which is outstanding for sure. And Aston Villa, they are making a great season. They have 18 points more than the previous one. So, very good team for sure, Aston Villa in this season. Good team, Aston Villa, not the following ones. Fulham, Newcastle, last game in the Premier League for Fulham right now at Craven Cottage. Their form is awful. They were able to get a draw against Man United after 3 consecutive defeats. No victories in the last 9, 5 straight defeats at home. So everything is very negative. And Newcastle, they are ending the season in a good way, actually. And the odds for a Newcastle victory here are quite good, because Fulham, surprisingly, they are favorites for this game. If Newcastle win, odds 3.25.
What? Oh, go Newcastle now. Don't waste time. Go Newcastle right now. They're in terrific form. They're scoring goals in Joe Willock, 6 in 6. They have one of the league's form players. I know Callum Wilson is out, which is always a problem, but even Joe Linton is scoring at the moment. Everyone's scoring for Newcastle. The pressure is gone. The shackles are off. They're scoring. They won again in midweek. They will win here. And I'm quite surprised. I'd go Newcastle win under all circumstances. But this even might be a good Asian handicap for Newcastle, considering Fulham are favourites as we speak, because I see Newcastle winning with goals to spare. I know fans are back in, all of that sort of stuff, but there are so many issues at Fulham. And I can't really see a scenario where they win. It would be an anomaly if they're able to put on a great performance and win here. So at least 2-0, maybe Asian handicap Newcastle, win without conceding Newcastle, Magpies all the way.
I'm so surprised to see also these very low odds for Fulham, so let's go for Newcastle. If you fancy Newcastle Asian handicap -1, the odds are huge, 5.6. So here we have a very good bet, actually.
Do it now before someone realizes they've made a mistake.
Exactly, do it right now and quickly. Then we go to Elland Road, Leeds, West Bromwich Albion, 2 teams that were promoted this season to the Premier League, and what a different performance they've made. Leeds, they are 10th in the table. Great job for Bielsa's men. They beat Southampton. They are ending the season really good. 3 straight victories for them, and the odds to beat West Brom is around 1.6, something that should happen. Right, Tom? Because West Brom, They lost again against West Ham, and they are going to the Championship in a very bad way.
Yes, and Allardyce is leaving. They released the statement that Allardyce was stepping down at West Brom whilst the West Ham game was still on. It was just before Mikel Antonio made it 3. They put the statement on the website. So we're telling our live commentator, you should probably break this. The manager who's playing in the game you're watching right now has resigned in advance. You know, it was really weird. Look, there's some good things about West Brom, and Allardyce has brought some good things to them. Gallagher and Kozlu in midfield, there's some good stuff. But it's a championship squad. They were always going down. They haven't really made much of a fight of it. And as for Leeds, as you say, both came up together, and you wouldn't know it because Leeds look like they've been around for years. The last two performances have been spectacular. The win against Tottenham was good, sure, but the win against Burnley I was working on, it was 4, could have been 10. The win against Southampton, it was 2, could have been 5. Rafinha looks fantastic right now. Rodrigo is playing well. Patrick Bamford is putting his weight in. Stuart Dallas, I think, should be in everyone's team of the year. Looks fantastic. We could go on. They look brilliant. Fans at Ellen Road for the first time since promotion as well. I expect Leeds win. I expect big Leeds win. Another Asian handicap potential. At least 2 goals for Leeds United as well. I expect lots of goals in this game. Maybe at both ends, but I expect Leeds to win.
We have Leeds Asian handicap minus 1.5, odds 2.28. So that means that they have to win for 2 goals difference for us to win our bet. This is your tip. Bamford, you mentioned him. 16 goals, Bamford, in this season. Really good for him. I can't understand why Rodrigo is not playing that much. Then we have a very good game. Leicester City, Tottenham. Wow, we spoke some weeks ago, Tom, how Leicester City could throw away again their top 4 position in the table, and going to the final day, they are actually 5th, so they need Chelsea or Liverpool not to win their game, and they have to beat Tottenham. I'm very sad if the Foxes finally don't qualify again for the Champions League. And the Spurs, you mentioned their game against Aston Villa, where they were worse than their rival. Kane was saying goodbye to the supporters. 20 goals for him this season, but it's not enough for Spurs to make a good campaign. Their only option is to qualify for the Conference Cup.
Conference League. Win for Tottenham Hotspur, and they could usurp West Ham in 6th because they've got a better goal difference. That would require West Ham to lose against Southampton too, and I don't see that happening, but we'll get to that later. They were very poor against Villa, no question, and I think the club has been rocked by the fact they've got essentially a child as manager, and they've got their best player, and the man who scored 20 plus goals for them every season for like 7 or 8 years wants to leave, and he will be leaving because I don't think they could keep an unhappy Harry Kane at Tottenham. For Leicester, they've been in the top 4 all season, quite literally in the top 4 all season until Wednesday. Until Wednesday of the final week, they've been in the top 4. Now, I've already told you, I think, that Chelsea are going to draw against Aston Villa, which means if Leicester win here, they will go above Chelsea. They will go to 69 points and Chelsea will be on 68. They will go above them and can still finish 3rd. And I see it happening. I see that happening here for Leicester City. I thought they played okay against Chelsea at the Bridge. But Chelsea, they turned it on. They can turn it on, Chelsea. They have got an incredible squad and they put in a good performance. But even then, if Jose Perez scores that strike at the end, it's done. They've all but qualified, draw against Tottenham, and they are there. So they've nearly blown it. They've done whatever they can to blow it, Leicester, again, for the 2nd season in a row. But I think they're going to make it on the final day. They're going to make it by beating Tottenham Hotspur. These two had a game at the end of a season a couple of years ago, which was a goal fest at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think this will be similar. I'd be looking for a high volume of goals here because of what is on the line for both. And I'd be looking maybe over 3.5 goals. I'm looking at 3-2s, 4-3s here in this game. I think it's going to be mad. I'm really excited about it, but I would take Leicester to win it in the end.
Okay, Leicester to win is 2.10, over 3.5 goals, 2.62. These are your odds. Let's hope, in my opinion, sorry for Chelsea's fans, that Leicester go to the Champions League. Also, Liverpool can go and should go, I guess, to the Champions League. You mentioned in the previous video that they were going to win both games. They thrashed Burnley 0-3, no problems for them. Now 4 victories in a row, so they should beat Crystal Palace, another club that released a statement saying that Hodgson is leaving at the end of the season.
Roy Hodgson, 45 years in management, great ovation, great reception at Selhurst Park against Arsenal in midweek. Quite rightly so. He's been an incredible servant to the game, an incredibly knowledgeable man. He's been in charge of 4 national teams and 4 or 5 Premier League teams. Inter Milan, he's managed in Sweden and all over the world. You know, he's an incredible wealth of football knowledge, and it was a warm send-off for him. But, you know, he's in charge of a side that are in massive transition, obviously, losing such a figure at the club, loads of players out of contract. I don't expect much of a fight from Crystal Palace in this game, if I'm honest. I expect Liverpool, who you mentioned, picked up a massive win against Burnley in midweek, the incredible Alisson header against West Brom in the previous game. It's all swung in their favour at the vital moment, Liverpool. They've got the perfect fixture on the final day of the season with fans back at Anfield. Easy win without conceding. Asian handicap potential, 1.5 at least, maybe more. I'd be looking for a big Liverpool win, 4-5-0. That's what I'd be looking at here. A thrashing, a spanking to make third, which is what would happen.
Then we have to go to find good odds. Let's say Asian handicap minus 2.5 for Liverpool. There we find odds that are right now in Oddspedia.com 2.31 because Liverpool are massive favorites to win this game. Imagine that the odds are as low as 1.22, so everyone expects an easy victory here for the Reds. Then we go to Manchester, Man City, Everton, Guardiola against Mourinho. Everton finally won at Goodison Park. That's big news, with Richarlison scoring against Wolves, whereas City, as I mentioned before in the video, they lost against Brighton, well, last game before the Champions League final as well. Everton is still with an option to qualify for that Conference League. What do you expect here?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because earlier we spoke about Arsenal. They can still make the Conference League. They can get above Tottenham, but can't get above West Ham. And it's a similar story for Everton as well. They can go level on points to West Ham, but the goal difference swing is far too much. They'd need to win, I think, 4-0, and West Ham would need to lose 4-0, and I don't see those results happening. However, Everton have been phenomenal, as we've spoken about previously, and as everyone knows who's watched the league this season, away from home. They have looked great away from home. I know fans are back in at the Etihad Stadium, but you know the Etihad Stadium, we might not even notice. And City, they've been a bit off the boil, haven't they? They have been, quite understandably. They're looking at the Champions League. They don't want to get people injured. De Bruyne's not really playing. They just want to get him fit for the game in Portugal. They're not interested really in what happens for the rest of the Premier League. And also it's the trophy lift here as well in this game. And so, you know, they might be a bit cash, as they were at times against Brighton. And I don't see an easy Man City thrashing here. I don't see it. I think Everton defensively are good. On the break, they are good. And in Richarlison, who scored again in midweek, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they have players who can hurt you. I actually would be looking draw here. I think Everton can get something at the Etihad Stadium, and I feel like I'd be edging towards Everton, but I'm not confident enough to do it with my own money. So I'd be looking draw, which might be enough for Everton if Arsenal and Tottenham were to lose.
Then we have the draw is 5.5. If you can also go for Everton Asian handicap +1, which is slightly more conservative. If Man City win this game for 1 goal only, we have our money back. If Everton get a point or the 3 points from the Etihad, you will win your bet. No defeats, in the last 14 away games for Everton, only 1 defeat against Chelsea. This is how good they are on the road. And then we have this, the game that we have every video, Tom, that probably we can skip it. Sheffield United Burnley is in this case. Sheffield's dreadful season come finally to an end. 20 points only. Last season they had 54 points, so it's like minus 34 points. And Burnley, well, they will play 1 season more in the Premier League, so goal achieved, I guess.
I like how you said 1 season more, like that's going to be the last one. We've all said that for years. They're never going to go. Not while Sean Dyche remains, and I think he will remain. Let's not spend too much time on this. Don't go Sheffield United win. That's the only thing I can really tell you. Draw, I think, is most likely. Burnley, potentially. Look out for Chris Wood to score if you are looking for the goal scorers market. But draw, goalless, not thrilling. Move on.
Boring. 3.64 then. For the draw here, then I'm sure you are much more excited about the game in the London Stadium. West Ham, Southampton. West Ham, the Hammers, they can qualify for the Europa League. They beat West Brom in the middle of the week, whereas Southampton lost at home against Leeds. You are not going to screw it up, no, in the last game?
Well, they've done their best to. They've done their best in recent weeks to try and screw it up, not beating Brighton, not beating Everton, going 1-0 down against West Brom. But the team's got tremendous character. Fourth time this season they've gone behind in a game and gone on to win that match. That's pretty impressive, I think. Away from home, with fans, against Allardyce, all of that for West Ham, and they still came through it. An incredible test for them against West Bromwich Albion. 1 point and they make it. It would require a Tottenham win for them not to finish sixth this season, which I already don't see happening. So, look, I think West Ham are going to finish sixth, and I think West Ham will put on a show here, actually, because offensively, very strong. We've spoken a lot about Jesse Lingard, Said Benrahma, with another assist for West Ham this week. He scored against Brighton. The numbers looking much better for him. He's grown as the season's gone on. Mikel Antonio scored, I think he's 10th of in the league this season. Another good campaign for him up front, looking defensively good. Rice and Soucek back in midfield. And Southampton, they'll be pleased when their season's over. They were dreadful against Leeds a couple of days ago. Good win against Fulham, good win against Palace, but I think they'd be happy to wrap this one up. I think that they will go to West Ham and play 4-4-2 and try and hit West Ham on the break, and they may well nick a goal from a corner or something, but I can't see West Ham not scoring against Southampton. So West Ham to win will be my tip here.
Odds 1.79, so not bad if you back the home victory here. And then our last game, Wolves Man United. Man United probably also they are focused in the Europa League final. Only one victory in the last 5 games in all competitions. But the away record this season is amazing. 11 victories, 7 draws. So I guess they should keep it against Wolves that, one victory in the last 5 games. We've been saying that they cannot score, and they've been a bad team overall, especially in the second part of the season.
Do you know what? I have made a lot of money this year on Man United to win away from home and concede a goal, or Man United to win away from home and to concede first. And I back that most weeks because, sometimes things happen and they become a trend and they keep on happening. It's happened like 10 times. Like it's been... Keep backing it until it doesn't happen. It keeps on happening. So go for it again here. Go for Man United to win, absolutely. And if you can double that with Wolves score first or both teams to score, I would absolutely recommend you do that because it's happened so many times now. How could you bet against it? Why wouldn't you go for it? It's well worth a few quid of anyone's money. Wolves to score, Man U to win.
We can put your tip here, probably is the highest ever tip. Man United to win from behind in this game, 13. So
do it.
It's
going to happen. It keeps happening.
Even Man United victory is paid quite good, actually, 2.7. So not bad at all. Then Tom, let's see your ACCA for the final day.
Well, definitely Liverpool over Crystal Palace. That goes in, absolutely. And West Ham to beat Southampton. Very confident about that. The rest of the day is a little bit of a mixed bag. I would take Newcastle to win at Fulham, which should give you some good value in this. I would also look to add Arsenal over Brighton. Those would be my 4.
Your odds for this ACCA is 9.32 then. Thank you, Tom. It's been a pleasure always analyzing the Premier League with you this season. Hopefully we see each other next one. See you.
And next season we can bet every week on West Ham to lose because that's going to come back in as the safe bet.
See ya. Well, Tom thinks that it's going to be Leicester going to the Champions League and Chelsea dropping from the top 4. Let me know if you agree with him in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And do not forget to click on the like button if you enjoy our videos, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And also remember, we have a podcast. You can listen to all our videos in our podcast. Thank you very much for following the Premier League with us. See ya.